Hey, everybody, it's the day the Lord has made. We choose to rejoice and be glad in it. Happy Wednesday to you. It is our time of sowing. And as you can see, one of my special guests this evening is the First Lady of the College Temple Baptist Church, affectionately called Lady D. Good evening to you.
Hey, hello.
Well, so good to have Lady D with us today. We are in Love Week, and we have been teaching so far this month about stepping in the name of love. And so we're going to take some time to say good evening to everybody. So Lady D, these people who are with us. So good evening to our Sister Terrell Pryor. Good evening, Sister Wilson, Sister Joanne Fields. Good evening.
Hello,
Sister
hello.
Patsy Johnson. You know Sister Patsy.
Yeah.
Hey, good evening. Sister Tijuana Burns, good evening. Sister Ari, hey there.
Hey.
Over there on YouTube, Sister Imogene Conyers and everybody who's coming in. Do me a favor, once you come into this room, I want you to hit the share button. It's important that you hit the share button as we get this lesson started, and we're just so grateful for all of you. We're talking about stepping in the name of love. We talked about agape. We did it on last week, and this morning we talked about storge, that familiar, that family love between mother and daughter and father and son and husband and wife. So it's very important that we operate in storge. It's very important that we teach people storge. It's very important that we do what God has called us to do. Deacon Seal said, hey, sis.
Hey.
So let's pray tonight. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you. We praise you for being able to come to study your word together. We thank you for the blessed privilege and the blessed opportunity, oh God, to spend time in your word. Teach us, oh God, your word. We want to know what you want us to know. We want to grow in you. We want to mature in you. And we know the only way to do that, oh God, is through your word. Bless those who's watching us tonight. Let them hear what the Spirit has to say to the church. And we count it done in Jesus' name. Amen.
Man.
Well, tonight we want to talk about that other kind of love called eros. Remember, there's four different loves. Four different meanings, of the word love in the Greek, and eros is one of those words. It is that erotic love, that sensual love, and in this love week, what other way to talk about it than to do it tonight? Now, let me say this before we welcome to you our special guest. This coming Wednesday, next Wednesday, is Ash Wednesday, and we're going to celebrate Ash Wednesday here on next Wednesday, and so we'll give you some more information about that, and there will be ashes here to the church for us to come and anoint those who want to be anointed. It is COVID, so we're going to wear masks and we're going to social distance and do all of that, but we'll give you more information about that just a little bit later. Well, me and Lady D, if the good Lord is willing, on October 21st of this year, we will celebrate 15 years of marriage, and we can teach this lesson. We've gone through, in the last 15 years, we've gone through some ups, we've gone through some downs, and God has really, really brought us through. Well, I figure what other better people that we could have that can help us teach this lesson tonight, that we can glean from a couple that has been married for 45 years. And the only reason I know they've been married 45 years is because they've been married probably a year and a day or two longer than I've been alive. A blessing to us. Can you welcome with me Apostle Larry B. Aiken and Pastor Olivia? our pastors, and we honor God for them.
Amen.
In Kansas City, they are affectionately known as love doctors. So it is so awesome to have the love doctors here with us tonight. So good evening. How y'all doing?
Oh, we are doing great. We are doing great. It's so good to see you all. Darlene, you are looking fabulous. The person next to you, he's looking all right. But you are looking absolutely fabulous. I do not know why he lacking our years of marriage to his age. And I really need him to stop doing that. if he would stop doing that, if we don't gain anything else out of this lesson, we need to gain that, because we are not a day over 35.
Listen,
all right.
I'm in the spirit, because I was getting ready to say you've been married that long, but you look only 35 years of age.
All right. Well, you in the spirit then. You in the spirit.
Listen, if you're watching us on Facebook, hit that share button. If you're watching us on YouTube, I need you to hit the share button as well. Text this to a family member, text it to a friend. Let's get us in this discussion. Now, we've been talking about love, and it's important for the fundamental of our faith. One of the things I said this morning is that you can't be a Christian if you don't operate in love, because the God we serve, he is love.
Yeah.
And so to understand love, you have to understand the magnitude of love. The word
Absolutely.
love, the English term, is a loose word, but in the Greek, it categorizes it in 4 different meanings, and to really build on love. And I think we as children of God, we need all 4 types of love. We need the storge, we need the eros, we need the agape, we need the phileo, we need all of it. And we're going to operate as Christians. But tonight we want to talk about that eros, that romantic love. And then we want to talk about marriage. And I cannot wait till the day come where we can have you all spend some time to minister to our married couples. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited because you all are an awesome example of love and how to operate with family and ministry. And so, we're just glad to have y'all. We're just glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's get this thing started. Good evening, Deacon Wallace, Mother Brown. Good evening to you. Sister Neosha Johnson. Good evening. Elder Sabrina Seals. Good evening. So, all right, let's talk about this. So let's talk about eros, this romantic love in marriage. And I think, well, we can start this thing off tonight. I think too many people think the romantic love just means the bedroom. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the way we show love as a couple. Because, and I'm telling you why we're doing this tonight, y'all, because we're studying, we're talking about eros, which is a Greek word. Now, we're going to mention something in the Old Testament, but you understand the Old Testament is in Hebrew, so there is no definition for love like that as the multiple meaning in the Greek, like in the Hebrew, like it is in the Greek. So mention some Old Testament stuff, but we're basing mostly what we're talking about on the New Testament. And it's sad to say that the New Testament really does not explore eros like that. It really doesn't talk about deep, sensual relationships in the New Testament, but in the Old Testament, it actually does. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the importance of this love in our marriage.
If there is one thing, and I don't want to use the term failed, but if there is an area that the church as a whole have not given a lot of attention, we said love your wives as Christ have loved the church, but we have never equipped people with tools. We've never given them a blueprint on how to do it. Open affection, romantic affection. My wife is you can't see how close she is actually sitting to me, but this is by design, and not only because we are on here, but this is something that happens with us all the time. I realized early in our relationship that a part of my responsibility to her was to reinforce and reassure my love for her. When God took woman from man's side, that was her security. So she was covered with flesh. Now it becomes the man's responsibility to do what the flesh did. And so it's my job to cover her. And in doing so, I have to reassure her. I have to reinforce her. So it's no longer enough for her to know that I love her. Now I have to tell her. She needs to hear me say, I love you. And then I have to show that through actions. the holding of hands. I grew up with that, but a lot of men did not see that. Right. We have things that are built in to be sure. We don't leave home without kissing, without hugging, without showing that affection. We walk in the parking lot holding hands. We open doors for one another. That's a part of the whole part of reinforcing. And here's what I've discovered over these 45 years. If you want a powerful bedroom, don't start in the bedroom. Come on now. Because real romance start in the mind.
Talk to my mind.
Real romance start in the mind. And that's one of her favorite things is talk to my mind. And I remember the first time she told me that, talk to your mind, girl. I ain't got time to talk to your mind. But she helped me to learn how to love her and how to romance her. But I couldn't be so caught up in myself that I did not listen to what she needed. So it's not just the bedroom, but it makes the bedroom, better. So we teach a class that says no romance, no sex. So if there's no romance, then there is no sex. You follow me? So this is a favorite part of mine, the whole romance, because it keeps, or should I say, the chase in the relationship. And so there's always a chase, and then there's always a feeling that I'm after her like I was 45 years ago, so I'm constantly, right there. And so when people say, well, how can you all stand to be together all the time? And my response is, because I'm still chasing her, because I'm still running after her. And so those are the kind of things. And when as a man, I recognize that there must be romance. And this has nothing to do with providing and being a good husband and being a good father. The romance aspect is what the wife needs. Now it helps both, but it just reinforces the place that the wife is in. It just shifts, the whole idea. Well, it snatches away all idea of, does he really love me? Am I really do I still appeal to him? Is he still attracted, to me? And so I still do. And every now and then I tell a girl, go get your it short, put on your it pants. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to see no rollers in your hair. I ain't chasing you with rollers tonight. Take your rollers out your hair. So she plays on what I like. I play on what she likes, and it keeps the chase. And so, but it's very, very, very important. And when you add that to ministry, it adds another dimension of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Lady D, you ask Pastor O something.
Pastor O.
Yes.
For 45 years of marriage,
I'll
keep a successful marriage.
What did you? I couldn't hear you good.
45 years of marriage, how do you keep a successful marriage?
Okay, Lady D, how you keep a successful marriage? For number one, in a marriage, you have to make sure that the two of you are best friends. Now, and the reason why I say best friends is because we tolerate a lot of things from our friends. Some things we won't take from family members, some things we won't take from our mate, but our best friend, if they act up, we'll still forgive them. If they do something wrong, we still love them. They're my best friend. So in a relationship for 45 years, I married my best friend. Sometimes my best friend didn't do things I liked, but because he was my best friend, I was more able to forgive him and to forget it. And then we move on, and then vice versa, because I have to be the same way with him as a best friend. We both will tolerate things that we haven't done before. And then we learn to love each other even more, because if something happens in those 45 years, and believe me, they weren't all sunny days. We had ups, we had downs, and God knows we had mountains and valleys. But we learned in those areas that we had problems to get together, sit down, talk about it, and then we work it out. We find a way that we can do it better or change something. If he did something that I really think wasn't right, or I did something, we discussed it in a nice way. And I always found that we could discuss it. You know, a lot of times we did it when we got up under the sheets. I said, oh, you know what, I wanted to ask you something. And I've got him right where I want him, right there. You see what I'm saying? So we shared everything. We confided in each other, and it made it work more better. I promise you, those things put together were better. And then he knew when to get me good when we discussed something. And I feel that that's how we made it for 45 years.
You know, even though the Bible in the Old Testament does not necessarily talk about necessarily talk about eros, it does. And an example of it is in Solomon 1 and verse 2 through 4 says, oh, that he would kiss me with his kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine. The fragrance of your perfume is intoxicating. Your name is perfume poured out. No wonder young men adore you. Take me with you. Let us hurry. Oh, that the king would bring me to his chamber. And one more, Song of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 6 through 8 says, how beautiful are you and how pleasant, my love, with such delights. Your stature is like a palm tree. Your breasts are like clusters of fruit. I said, I will climb the palm tree and take a hold of its fruit. May your breasts be like clusters of grapes and your fragrance of your breath like apricots. So I read that for a reason, because Apostle, I guess you can start this and Pastor O can take it. So many times men don't want to show public affection, and even women don't show public affection. And I believe that families are suffering, and especially children, because children are watching us and they're studying us even when we don't know they are.
Oh, yeah.
So how do they know we love each other? The churches that we pastor, how do they know that we love our spouse? That would bring that spirit of love in our congregation, because so go the leader, so goes the church.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For us to show some level of eros publicly.
I tell pastors all the time, every time you get up is a teaching moment.
Yes.
I take advantage of every opportunity to teach affection all the time. Right. People think when I get up, I'm just saying something about Pastor O, when she could bring me something to remind me. In turn, I'll say, I sure like the way that girl walked. Now, people think, oh, I'm not just talking, I'm teaching.
Yeah.
I'm teaching that it's okay to publicly speak about your wife, to say kind words about your wife that reinforces to others that it's nothing to be ashamed of. So I openly say that to help others. I might say something like, man, that girl, let me hurry up and finish this so I can go home. I'm saying that because I'm letting people know, number one, I love her. Number two, I'm in love with her. And number three, I'm still passionately in love with her. That's what you heard. That's what you heard from Solomon. Watch this. I'm gonna show you this. This is what Solomon was saying. Watch this now.
Listen, this is a.
You know what I'm saying? That was a romantic.
Right.
That was a romantic kiss. That was a kiss that says, I can't wait till later. You follow what I'm saying? So that's where the romance technically begins. So public affection becomes very, very important. Now, the second thing is we are all products
Mhm.
of how we came up.
Yeah.
And so people cannot show what they have not been shown.
Mm-hmm.
And so until they learn that, so this is why we have to teach it, so they can begin to teach others and to know themselves that it's okay to be publicly affectionate. Because if a woman grew up in a house that wasn't affectionate, and her dad was not affectionate toward her mom, and you mess around and try to kiss her, even though she's your wife in the mall, she's gonna look at you. What are you doing? You know, don't do that in here. She's gonna think that it's the most outrageous thing in the world. And I'm not talking about a kiss like we just did, but I'm talking about a pet. But it automatically registers in her mind, man, this is the worst place that you know. So they have reserved all of that for later. So if a child grows up in the house and he doesn't see daddy hugging mama, he doesn't hear daddy telling mama that he loves her. Now, for instance, you take there are a few things that we teach in marriage class. Number one, we teach the power of difference, and then we teach birth order.
Yes.
Difference is you can have a husband and a wife. Number one, it can start with something as simple as you grew up. It could be a road trip.
Yeah.
What your family did on a road trip. Your mama might have gotten a map. Turn here, turn there, turn there.
Yeah.
But her mama rode in the car with the legs up on the dashboard, just kick back and wake me up when we get there. You know, something like that can break up a relationship because you and Darlene go on a trip, Darlene kick back. Well, you used to seeing your mom and dad go someplace and she telling him where, and now you got an attitude riding down the road because you're like, Darlene, you ain't into the trip. Darlene in her mind's like, hey, my mom chilled out now. We ain't did all that. So that can usher into that. Then you take birth order. Whether you're a first child or last child, the first child parents is a little more strict. The last child, they're a little more little more laid back. Yeah. And so it depends on what happened, you know, in there. So when you get with somebody and now you raise up, you got that versus that. Take Livia and I. I grew up in a house where my daddy was affectionate. We had a hugging house. We held hands. And we did all that. We was kissing one another, you know, and everything like that. Well, but in Livia house, her mom and daddy wasn't like that. It wasn't a whole bunch of kissing, wasn't a whole bunch of hugging. And we talked about the fact that she said, you know, I never really heard my daddy say that he loved me. But in his later life, after he moved here and we took care of him, she used to have to pry it out of him. Yeah. And then he would eventually say, I love you, you know, but we would laugh at that, but we knew that he loved her, but she didn't grow up with that. So when she got married to me, now she dealing with somebody who's all over her. And she's like, what are you doing? You know, why are your family hugging like that? Why do you all do all of that? Yeah. So we are all products of how we grew up. So she had to get used to the fact that we hugged, that you see what I'm saying? That everything was reinforced, but every family don't have that. So when a person don't have that, that has to be presented. That has to be taught. And that's where we are right now, because we have to let people know, not beat them into them, but let them see. It's okay for a man to be, yes, we want men that provide. Yes, we want men that take care of their family, but at the same time, that your wife needs to see a gentler. I'm like you, man, I'm about to mess this word up. A gentle side of her husband that shows, you know, the affectionate side. And let me say this while I'm talking. Ladies, when your husband shows affection, be receptive. Don't kill him. Don't cut him down. You ain't been doing that. Why are you trying to do it right now? You know, he heard something. I'm going to do better. And the moment he tries to do better, you just kill it. What you up to? Where you done been? And then, so then he's like, you know what? I'm not going to even try it now because she can't embrace it. So you have to give them, when men attempt to do it, give them the room and be thankful. Oh, thank you, sweetie. That was nice. Wow, you just blew my mind with that. So, you know, don't reject them, but pull them in. So, and let them know you appreciate that so they can give you more. But a lot of it depends on how you grew up and what you grew up seeing. Right. And even though you may not have grown up seeing it, now that you know, then take the steps because it takes nothing away from your manhood. It takes nothing away from making your family better and reinforcing to your wife that you love her.
Mm-hmm. So Pastor O, how do y'all handle disagreements?
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. When we have a disagreement, like I said again, we normally sit down, talk about it, and disagreeing doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that this person is right or that person is wrong. We kind of look at it and put down the best part on his part of how he feel, or the best part on how I feel. And we kind of bring it together with what's best for our marriage, what's best for that timing, what's best for our pocketbook. So we kind of bring it back because there will be, and there have been disagreements. And when it is, that's exactly what, and I'm a person that like to write things down. So I'll write it down. I said, well, this is why I said it like this, because I just couldn't see where we could afford it, you know? So we're going to do it this way. So then we look over here. He said, well, you're right about it, Liv. Maybe if we wait to hear. So we kind of work it out. And when we come out of it, it doesn't mean that we didn't go with your part or we didn't go with my part that makes either one of us wrong, but we bring it together and do what's best for us in the relationship and during that time.
But, Darlene, we had to learn how to do that.
Yes.
We did not always just, oh, honey, let's just sit down and come up with pros and cons. No, we didn't always do it like that, because my wife.
I was just fixing to say it. Let me say it.
Okay.
I know you're supposed to tell this part about me because he talked about the different ways of us being raised. His father was a very gentle man. He didn't, do, no fussing and anything like that. But my mom was a great fusser, and I watched her and I learned it very well. I mean, I did every I cross, every T, every I dotted and every T cross. I had that thing down right.
Wow.
And
she was a professional fusser. Man, that girl can fuss from sunrise to sunset.
And I never lost a battle. Let me put that part in there. But I learned after a while, because during the years, he would just let me fuss and he wouldn't say nothing. And I said, can't you say something? What's wrong with you? And he said, I'm fine, Liv. You all right? And then he kept saying, I love you. I said, you can't love me right now. I'm trying to make my point. And it kept going on until the point that I said, okay, I can't fuss by myself. I can't, be in this disagreement by myself, and I had to finally give in. And I'm so glad that I did, because now at my age, I don't think I could fuss like I used to fuss. But in the beginning, I could really put it down. I probably could write a book about it and encourage some people, because I had that thing. I learned it from my mother. She was a scholar in it. And I did. I mean, I fussed about everything. There was nothing that, I didn't fuss about, because I saw her do it. And I really thought it was a part of marriage. Now, to be honest, I thought that's what you're supposed to do. So I did it, and I wanted to do it well, because I was taught whatever you do, try to do it well. And I soon learned that I couldn't fuss by myself. But I was good.
She was very good. It later progressed. It later progressed into when we would have our real tough arguments.
Yeah, this is a
and
good
we
one.
saw that it had the ability of getting out of hand.
Yeah.
And most people can't handle this one. But we would stand toe to toe.
Yeah.
And we would hold hands and go at it. And that did not last long. I mean, we would stand there and look each other in the eye and we would let each other have it. And we soon discovered that it is very, very difficult to argue with the person you love, looking them in the eye,
holding their
hand, saying some of the worst words that you could say, because you don't speak to people you love like that. Yeah. And we found out that our arguments were shorter and shorter, and soon became non-existent. And we just began to, and in all honesty, what God knows, and I'm not making this up, I don't believe right now, with God is my witness, that we have had an argument in 20 years. I don't believe we have had an argument in 20 years. Now, she know how to tell me what she don't like, but I don't believe we have had an argument in 20 years. But those things just came far and few between, and it's just like, I can't say this to her, and I can't say that to him. And so then being transparent, and which you don't seek with everybody, but you do seek transparency with your mate, where you're able to talk about everything. And most arguments come to pass because somebody's not being heard. Or somebody feel that I'm not heard, I haven't been heard. And so I need a way. And then once you talk it through, it's like, that. So at that point, it's not about who's right or who's wrong, but it's about, I need you to listen to what I'm saying. And then you can make the decision what's best for the family.
Now, one thing, and I'm glad that question actually took on such a dynamic discussion, because it takes me to my next question. How important is it for dual submission? So many times, you hear men, Bible say you're supposed to be subject unto me. Well, keep reading, because it says we're supposed to be subject one to another. Let's talk about the importance of submission, and then I'm going to talk about another eros that I think we need to bring some clarity on. So let's talk about dual submission.
Okay, and I'm going to be brief on this one. I think when it comes to dual submission, it's probably one of the most important references when it comes to the land of marriage. Now, that does not negate the man's responsibility as a blessing channel for the house. But what it does, it brings a sense of accountability to the relationship, because both of us are now responsible for being accountable to the relationship. And there's not a book written as to when it's supposed to happen, but it should happen when it's needed. For instance, there are times when Olivia is right and I'm wrong, and I just need to submit to that. There are times when I'm right and she's wrong, and she just needs to submit to that. And this is so the marriage can move forward, and so the marriage can grow. Look at submit like this: sub, meaning to come under; mit, as in catch, meaning to catch. So I'm going to come under you, but don't drop me. Submarine, I'm going to go under, but don't you drop me. That's all it means. I'm going along with what you said, but don't drop me in the process. Don't let me fall as I go with this. I'm trusting you, because we all know that real marital submission does not come with a safety net. It's not like the people on the high wire with the net up under them. You trust your life in somebody's hand, and you pray to God that they don't drop you. I'm going to submit to you. I'm going to come under, and I'm just asking you to catch me and don't drop me. And so my promise to this young lady right here from 624 West 46th Street in Savannah, Georgia, I promised her that I wouldn't drop her. And here we are 45 years later. I fumbled, but I didn't drop. Lord, glory to God. I fumbled, but I didn't drop.
Yes,
God. You said something when you mentioned her address. And I really want to touch on this. But let's go back to romance. Eros, we know, is a sensual love. It's really where we get the word exotic from. So we understand that it's sensual. We understand that in the core of it it's a sexual meaning. But we know in order for us to get to the bedroom, it take romance before then. So you just did a video a couple of months ago, and you did a video going back by her home at a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're remembering what you used to do, but even in that video, that's a sign of romance.
Yes.
You did it for her attention, but you got thousands. I mean, like 5,000 views. I'm like, yeah, please. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that tree, and then I'll go into other thing I want to.
Okay. Well, it was something that I always wanted to do, and it would get time would catch me, and we always leave home. Well, I think we had one day left, and we were on the east side, and I said, no, stop me. I said, take me to 31st Street, 31st and Lincoln.
Right on
And
the
she
corner.
lived on the corner of 31st and Lincoln, and our tree was still there. And it was crazy because I had my daddy drop me, daddy would take me, my brother would take me, my uncle, whoever I could get a ride with. And sometimes I would just walk there.
Yes.
And I had a bunny, I had teddy bears, I had chocolate candy, depending on if it Valentine's, it was candy. Easter, it was a bunny.
Yeah.
Christmas, it was a gift. Her birthday, it was a gift. And the thing that I would do is that I would put the gift on the door.
Yeah.
At the door, I would ring the bell. And then I would run and hide behind the tree and wait on her to come and get the gift. And I would peek from behind. And I always made sure whoever dropped me off had to stay down the street. The car couldn't be there. And then I would peek, and she would pick up the gift, and she did the same thing every time. And she would look around, and she would clap her hands, like that, and jump up like a schoolgirl. And run in the house and tell her mom, and that was my key. I'd run and go get, and then about an hour later, she would call me at home, and I would go home and wait on her call.
We didn't have
No, we didn't have cell phone. And sometimes we had the party line. Had to wait till the folk got off. But she would be like, hey, did you leave that here? I was like, what? Somebody left you something? Yeah, it was this. I said, did it have was it a chocolate bunny on it? And was it this? And I would describe it. And that was our time, because I knew I was going to marry the girl. I proposed all my life, at 7, at 9, at 12, at 15, at 16. And I proposed at 17, and her mama said yes. And so she was 17, I was 18,
God help us.
Yeah, man. So but that's what that was. And not only have we done that, when we left home, we went to Augusta, Georgia, and we lived in Grovetown in a trailer. And matter of fact, I went to pick her up from the military, and she was swinging on the swing. That tell you how young she was. Swinging on the swings at Camp Park. And I came up with a U-Haul and told her, hey, get in this truck. She ran off the swing and came and jumped on the U-Haul. And I done been to her mom in the house. I said, we're going to go back there so you can hug that neck, and then we gone. And so, but we grew up together as kids, man. So that was just, so home for us is like where it all started. And we grew up together, as kids, at a time when people said we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we wanted. And I'm going to tell you what got us through. Our parents believed in us. They sat us down and they asked us, do you love her? Do you love him? And we said yes. And at that time, they believed in us. My sister Barbara, my brother Bubba, James, Timmy didn't even care. Timmy, like, man, you gonna get married? But they believed in us, and that's really all that mattered. you know, people in the church say, y'all letting them kids get married, they don't know what they're doing. But here we are 45 years later. But that was our time, man, and it's special to us.
Yes.
You know, I'm glad you said your parents believe in you. When me and Darlene got ready to get married, I went to her father, who snitched on me. I went to her mother. I went to my mother. I went to my father. I went to my children, you know, because this was my second marriage.
Yeah.
And as much as I loved her, I told any one of them, if you tell me no, I won't do it, because this time I want the blessing.
Yes,
The blessing of our parents. I want the blessing of my children, and the rest is history. Okay.
Okay, Pastor O, you know, Valentine's is coming up Sunday. So do you think that Valentine's is only for us, or should we have gifts and show love to our husbands also?
That's a good question. I've always did that. He always say, you know, don't worry about me. But I always got him a gift because even as he said in the beginning, I love to receive gifts. And I always figured that to whatever I love, I want to give to you, you know, and that's the way I do things. If I love it, I want to show you some love. So for Valentine, for all these years, I've always got him a gift, and he always gets me a gift, because I just get so excited when it's time for a gift. For a gift, and I love to see that on other people. So I believe that it is for both, for the husband and for the wife. But if you don't have, and then there were times now in the beginning of marriage, in the beginning of marriage, when we would do our gifts, and this will help some people who don't, you know, it don't have to be something that costs a lot or anything like that. We always stress that, because I love hot tamales. So he would get me a couple of boxes of the hot tamales, put a bow on it, and it meant so much to me. He liked Baby Ruth. So I would get Baby Ruth, tie a little bow around it, put it in there, and I would make sure he had his Baby Ruth. And it was like you giving me a 5-carat ring, you know, because this is something that I really love. And you in a relationship got to know how your finances are, how everything else is, you know. And then there were times that, say, for instance, we needed a washing machine. Then we both gave it to each other. That's what we got, a washing machine. And it was Happy Valentine's, you know. So you have to do what is best for that time. So yes, in that case, the men get a gift too.
All right.
So let's and I'm going to briefly hit on this, because I'm believing God this pandemic is going to be over soon, and we're going to put our married couple together, and we're really going to have some time with the love doctors. But Paul says something. There's one time the eros is really mentioned. Really two. The first time Paul talks about to the widows that he wish you were like me, and that, you know, you would be single for the gospel's sake, but it's better to marry than to murder. You know, so he kind of talks about eros then, but then we come into our relationship with God. Paul's a man who was single for the gospel's sake, stressed the fact that a husband and a wife should always participate in eros love. The only time you don't supposed to participate is when it's a common understanding between the two of you. Then it's during the time of fasting and praying, and you immediately come back together so you do not be tempted. So, I guess this is twofold. Apostle, you can take one, and Pastor, you can take it. The first fold is, how important is it for us that we keep that in our marriage, and how does it help you all? And then Pastor O, I guess the second half would be for you. Should it be used as a punishment?
Okay, I got you. Who you want to go first? I go first.
Well, I mean, it's extremely important. Now, a lot of that goes on the sexual appetite, but it also goes by way of the health of the individuals, you know, involved. Anything that becomes painful or not enjoyable for a person could possibly be too much. But that's where you gotta talk about it. But you should, you know, it should be mutual. It should be enjoyable. And and it should be done as often as it can be enjoyed, you know, within that aspect. And the purpose, see, even in the biblical times, a marriage was not even considered a marriage until it had been consummated.
That's right.
So there's a constant consummating, because it continues to create through consummating a stronger soul tie, a stronger bond between the husband and the wife. So it's something that is needful. It's something that needs to happen, because in that hour the bonding is so powerful. And then you move from bonding to dependence. We become dependent, you know, on each other, and it begins to satisfy the appetite, because so now you have a well-rounded, it well rounds the whole relationship piece, and that becomes that final piece. But it's an essential piece, you know, that needs to be in place. If that's not in place, now you got frustration, you got anger, you got the possibility of temptation and doors opening, and all kind of behavior. Pornography could possibly slip in, conversations that start at the water fountain, because people begin to feel deprived. And so it leads to so many other things. But when we take care and we satisfy those needs and satisfy those appetites, and it's a part of our duty in marriage. It's a part of our duty to one another in marriage. And let me say this, if there is a problem in this area, it needs to be noted prior to marriage. I didn't say test it out. I said it needed to be noted.
Right.
Y'all missed that. I said I didn't say it needed to be tested out. I said it needed to be noted, you know, and that way I don't get into a marriage and now the expectation of being with you is down because, you know, you just know it's not something that I'm going to enjoy. It's something that I would even want. And this is a part of marriage counseling where everything is talked about. You know, your expectations of childbearing, your expectations of being together, expectations of sexual fulfillment, all of those things like that. So that becomes a part of it. And that needs to be talked about. And if there are issues, even if there are issues that resulted from the past that you have not brought up, that where there could have been some abuse or some, you know, anything like that, that needs to be noted. It's only in fairness to your mate that you bring this up, and not after you have gotten married. And so I've known cases where some people say, well, I didn't say nothing because if they had known, then they may not want to marry me. Well, that didn't make it any better, because now that I'm in there, I feel that you have deceived me. We're in here, and this is something that we could have taken care of, possibly got some counseling and some other things that we could, you know, and so don't underestimate your mate or your mate to be, you know, within that. So that's a crucial piece. That's very, very essential in what you do. And I don't want to, if I keep talking, I'm going to get on Livia's question. I'm trying not
I'm just going to answer, man, real quick, and you can come back and say something. The question that you asked me, Bishop, could it be used as a punishment, you know, withholding sex back? And we cannot, because the husband's body belongs to the wife and the wife body belongs to the husband. But there are times I think that if a wife may be upset or whatever, no, I got a headache, I got this because I'm mad with you, but we shouldn't, you know, do that. It is wrong. And then vice versa, the man can do the same. But I feel in a place like that is that if I'm in that place and I'm trying not to give in, because you are my best friend, because you are my mate, because you are not going to drop me, because you love me, then you ought to know how to work it to get it. You know, well, you should have never let me stop. There are certain things that you know I like that will put me there. So you ought to come on with it, and vice versa, because sometimes men withhold from their wives and they'd be like, I've been working all day. I ain't got time. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. So as a wife, I know how to get you, so I know how to get you in that. So the question answered, no, we cannot withhold. We're not supposed to, in other words. And maybe in the beginning of marriage, we might have did it and now we've learned better, but we're not supposed to.
You
Go ahead,
keep telling me this, telling me that. Say once I'm with you, I'll never turn back.
We better stop.
Say there's a lesson that you want to teach.
Come on now.
Here I am, baby.
Hey.
Practice what you
You
preach.
supposed to answer.
Oh,
You supposed to
all
answer.
right.
Ooh, okay, we all right. We good. We back.
Listen, Apostle, we can't thank you enough. First of all, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, we love you. We love you.
We can't thank you enough for being our covering and being our example. But most of all, you're our friends, and
Absolutely.
yes.
We love Darlene.
I know it. I know it.
We love you too, Bishop C.
Listen, waiting on it. I was just waiting. but we are blessed, and when I say we are blessed, our family is blessed. We as a church family of New Vision, we're blessed to have such great examples, and I'm so happy that even here in my new assignment, God sending me back home. And for you, Apostle, this is kind of home too, because
man, hey, you just don't know how much I love coming there for whatever reason.
So this is, to have you all tonight is just awesome, and we're looking forward to having the Love Doctors with us. The Lord was, while you all were talking, the Lord was showing me things that we're going to do, and so I'm just excited about it. Tonight, you all, I hope you were been blessed, and I hope
Go Bulldogs.
Oh,
I forgot, y'all, he went to Beach High School. God,
Thank you.
God bless him. God bless him. Everybody couldn't go to Windsor. I understand. I understand. But listen, I'm gonna say this publicly. We got to get Larry B. Aiken in the Beach High School Hall of Fame for the athletics. We're gonna do it.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do it.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna work to get that done. I promise you that. I'm calling in some favors right now. We got to get the Apostle in there.
We're gonna do it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from the bishop.
Yes, we're gonna do it. So I want to thank them for being here with us tonight. Well, y'all know it's Wednesday, so y'all know what Wednesday means. This is our sowing time. We study on Wednesday, but not only do we study on Wednesday, this is our time to sow. And how do we sow? I ask you every single Wednesday to get a $10 offering and sow it. And the ways to sow is on your screen. Cash App, money sign CTBC. I mean, money sign Carter's Temple Baptist Church. Is that right? No, that is not right. It's money sign CTBC 509. Let me get that foolery off this screen. It's money sign CTBC 509. That's how to do it. Or you can do it by push pay. You can do it by mailing it here to the church. And so I did that wrong. Anyway, that's how we give. Cash App, money sign CTBC 509, or email or mail the church, 509 West Gwinnett Street, Savannah, Georgia 31401, or by push pay. Just go on our website, CarterTempleBaptistChurch.org, and you can give online. But again, Apostle and Pastor O, thank you. So, my mom said Wolverines.
Tell Mom I forgive her.
Say Wolverine. Thank you so much, Deacon Seals. I see you all giving already. Again, Cash App, money sign C Temple CTBC Jesus 509. Money sign CTBC 509. But we're grateful, and we can't wait to the day that we're able to do this thing.
Can't wait.
Just imagine if they had a platform and they'll have to worry about social media and all that other stuff. Apostle, we thank you. Can you do me a favor? Can you close us out in prayer tonight?
Sure. Father, we are grateful and thankful for this time together. We thank you for the Commerce Temple Baptist Church. We thank you for Bishop Thomas Sills. We thank you for Lady D.
Yes.
And their entire family. God, thank you for the gift that is within them. Thank you for the vision that you have given him. God, I pray for the disciples there at the church, and we are grateful for his leadership, for his insight, for his foresight, God. We give you praise that you are using him like never before. Now, God, we give your name victory. Thank you, God, for all of the ministries and auxiliaries that make ministry work. Thank you for the generosity of those that support ministry. For that, we give you praise. And then, God, we thank you for what's on the way. Thank you for what's coming. Thank you for what is around the corner. Thank you for big vision. We serve a big God, so we thank you for big vision. And we thank you for that big vision is already on the way. And then, God, as they continue their Bible study and Sunday school and worship service, God, I have noticed, I have watched them, God, and they have done nothing short of excellence. Continue to allow them to operate in that spirit of excellence, to do great things, God, on the corner of MLK and Gwinnett Street. God, I thank you for it, and by faith, we believe it done. Be with them, stand by them until we are able to meet again, and by faith, we believe it done. In Jesus' name, we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Again, everyone, thank you for being here with us. Thank Lady D. She is very quiet and to herself for her coming tonight, being here.
I love her.
Listen, I think the only reason she's here because Apostle and Pastor Odin are going to be here.
The only reason.
I love it.
And so we're grateful to all of you who have participated in our discussion. I saw you all talking and commenting, and Apostle and Pastor O, I think one comment I saw about 4 or 5 times, I'm coming under you so you can catch me and not drop me.
I know that.
Yeah. And somebody, what was the other one? Talk to my mind. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Well, y'all, we out of here. Please always remember that your better days are here. Most of all, your better days, they are ahead. Y'all have a wonderful night. We'll see you Sunday morning right here. Bye-bye for now.